search to fill the void. An unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encountercast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncountercast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What's up? Welcome to Final Encountercast. Glad to have you guys along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio starting at 1 p.m. Live here on Twitch. FinalEncountercast.com is the website. I am glad to be back. Super happy to be off vacation and back here with you guys in this hot, stinky, sweaty room. Actually, it's not that bad this week.
We're super happy to have you back and not our interim host.
Yeah.
Are we really happy though?
Yeah, I was
As
going to
compared
say.
to that,
We do a great job on our own.
Yeah, I wasn't
You
going to
didn't-
speak for yourself.
Nika, you didn't host this show alone.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we all hosted
No,
it
when-
without, but we all hosted it without you.
When that responsibility fell on you, you folded. You let me down, Nika.
There was only two of us. That would not have been a very entertaining show, I don't think.
You're
Well,
fired.
Maybe.
Well, we're glad to be back in studio, and this is great because we've got of course the drops again.
Oh,
everything is
Oh, yay.
back to its regular status
you know,
quo.
I thought it was a Nero, but no, that's what was missing.
The drops.
The drops.
Well, you guys imitated them enough on air to.
Nero, did Callie do something wrong?
No, you all kind of collectively
No,
did.
I mean you're punishing him. His name is Chris.
rude.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my God.
It is.
Ooh.
Ooh. Well,
What?
you're Chris
We have
today.
Chris with the C and Chris with the K.
That's
Yeah.
right.
At least,
We've
I got the K spelling. I got
Yeah.
the good spelling
That's
of that
right.
name.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
we've
know.
got-
K Chris's are evil Chris's. Yeah.
So yeah, you're Chris today. So I mean, you can
Great.
just add it. You can just add it to your Daenerys Targaryen like list of names that you have.
Names and titles that I go by.
Well, that takes at least 12 minutes up alone on an episode.
It does.
It really does.
On every episode.
Yeah,
I
right.
can't wait.
Anyway, guys, welcome to the
Hey,
show.
wait, you didn't call me the Unburnt.
Is that one of your titles?
It is now.
It's one of Daenerys' titles.
I mean,
The double gendered.
I don't really have a whole lot of fire producing things available
Both
to me
he
right
and
now.
she of her first name.
Like, I guess we could take like the stove and heat up a coil and have you put your hand on it.
Yeah, it's gonna go great for me. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, both the
You're not
first.
gonna pull that away looking like Grayscale or anything.
Yeah, first of his and her name.
There you go.
This is gonna work great. I'm digging this. All right, I want like 9 new titles by next week.
That's all on you.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna let the chat do it.
Oh.
But
they
it's
get to
gonna
decide
cover
my
up your
titles.
entire screen because your titles are just going to be like listed all
Yeah,
the way.
the
over
chat
your
gets to
face.
pick my titles, but Nate has to put them on the screen.
Anyway, so thanks guys for joining us today. Appreciate having you along. Glad to have this show back to normal. Mostly because I did listen to last week's show.
That's unfortunate.
I listened to the sections of it live. That's pretty much all I could stomach.
It's all we could stomach, and we were
What
there.
did you guys do to this show? Like,
It's FEC.
We made it awesome.
no, you didn't.
I think FEC ran.
Tone of your voice.
That is objectively not true.
I think FEC ran fairly close to normal. It was the other one that went a
Yeah,
little
it
off
did.
the rails.
I don't know about that. I mean, your introduction of the show, you're like, is that how he does it? Is that the thing? You just make it. You just go. You run with it. You know. You don't. You're
doesn't
overthinking.
Matter, yeah, it doesn't matter how he does it because you're not him.
That's right.
Unless you're Escalia Kali of the Aniro born.
Of House of Nero.
Anyway, glad to have you along. Apparently, it sounds like someone's eating ice cream in the background.
Oh, that's
it's
probably
me.
Senpai.
Yeah, that's the distinct sound of a spoon hitting a bowl.
It's got to be cereal.
If I've ever heard it,
He's eating pasta.
pasta.
It's like
It's a fork.
That's
Shut up, you little weasel.
It's in the afternoon.
Come
I guess
on,
you can have
Nero,
pasta.
Or, come on, Nate. You can't tell the difference between a spoon and a fork hitting a
Yeah, I mean,
bowl.
come on.
I know my skills are sliding. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Appreciate having you along. We'll get to the news here in just a second, but I do want to talk real quick about my vacation.
Are you going
because-
to defend what you spent?
Yeah. Well, you guys, thanks for outing me. Appreciate
No,
it.
hey. That was kooky.
Oh,
That was
It
kooky.
was
How did
kooky.
you-
was it
Actually,
now?
I'm pretty sure I'm the one that Googled it, but I'll
I
let
should-
Cookie take the fall for it.
Nika, no, that was definitely Kooky who said it in the chat. Do not try to steal credit for Kooky.
Yeah, Nika tried to Google it, but failed to find the correct answer.
I don't believe that that's true at all. I'm pretty sure I found it and then we had a discussion. But again, I'll let Cookie take the fall for it.
So,
Sure.
so I
Thanks,
feel
Cookie.
I do feel like I need to do a little bit of defense of my decision to go to Twin Peaks Fest.
First, it's really indefensible.
First of all, Robbie, your comment that I just took a picture from a hallway of a bunch of donuts. Let me respond to that.
I don't think you need to. I think it says that everything.
It really speaks for itself.
The fact that you want to respond to that says everything you need to say.
So, first of all, the festival itself takes place between a bunch of filming locations, and the filming locations are not like sets; they're actual places,
which is
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it was a hallway filled with a bunch of donuts.
It was a high school. It was a high school. It was
a
like
high school hallway.
No, it was a high school cafeteria.
Is
Nate,
high school like still a functioning high school?
Actually, like 90% of it was under construction. So they're like building a whole new high school, and this is the very last remnants of the original high school that it was filmed in. So after this year, it's not going to be there. It's gone.
So had he panned the camera a little bit
pout.
to the right, you would have saw they were like tearing down the walls and stuff.
No, actually, if I had panned the camera a little bit to the right, you would have seen the whole bunch of tables that they had set up because they were doing trivia at the time. But you would have seen at least. I think at that point there were like 4 or 5 stars from the TV show, including Krista Bell, who spent a lot of time with fans out there, as well as Amy Shields, who, if you don't know her work from Twin Peaks, I'm sure you do know her work as Luna Freya in Final Fantasy 15.
do you know her from her work as Luna Freya in Final Fantasy 15?
Sure don't, but she wouldn't know that. But the thing about this is that there's only maybe a couple hundred people that go. Like, there's only a couple
That
hundred
is
tickets.
not surprising.
Actually, that number seems awfully high.
The thing is that you get like one-on-one individual experiences with the cast members. It's not like a meet and greet like you would get out at a con where you're paying $20 for a photo. Like
They usher you off really quickly.
right.
Get away from Daredevil, you cretin.
Right. Yeah. That was pretty close to what happened, and I was like, no, I have to get a selfie first. Fuck you. But no, you actually get to like eat dinner and have like genuine conversations
that's cool.
with these folks, and that's where the value is actually driven. Is they're like, yeah, we're not going to expect you to pay $40 for an autograph. You just get access to these folks, and so I got to know more than a few of the cast members, and that was really cool. I would rattle them off, but they wouldn't mean anything to you.
No.
So
That said, that is pretty sweet though. Like the idea of that, instead of just be like, oh look, they're over there on the other side of the room, and I can like maybe wave at them.
Yeah.
You actually get to go hang out with them.
yeah, yeah.
If I could hang out with the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for $350, yeah, that'd probably be a pretty decent deal.
It was actually a really cool
Those are
experience.
actual actors.
These are actual actors as well. But anyway, that said, it was a very cool experience. I'm glad that I did it, and I'm happy to have paid the money that I did. That said, don't think I'd do it again.
No.
Like, this year was specifically like, I feel like if I'm going to do it, if I was ever going to do it, this year would be the year to do it.
It was, definitely the smartest call with it just coming back. Because even if, it's a huge
Yeah.
success and they go on with more seasons, at that point, Twin Fest Peak will just get bigger, and
Right.
maybe then it won't cost as much money. But,
Right,
who
right.
knows?
Yeah. So, we drove around to a whole bunch of different filming locations, and, you know, it was cool.
How much pie did you eat?
I didn't eat any pie, but
you missed the whole experience.
I went to the Double R Diner. That was very cool. And like I said, I can't speak for their pie, but their turkey dip was pretty good.
You gotta eat pie at the Twin Peaks Festival, because if you don't get the pie, then the turkey peaks of the donuts on the table are there. She's dead and wrapped in plastic, man.
That was an experience in Chris trying to figure out how much he can pull out of seeing 3 seconds of this show.
I really regret ever saying that this show was in capable hands. That's, I think, my biggest regret so far.
Really, it was your mistake.
Yeah, well, it was. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me the couple of weekends off. I need it.
I thought you were going to say allowing you to come back. You're like, yeah, you know.
Oh, no. Allowing me to come back. No, I had to come back. I mean, if it wasn't, like, I was thinking about staying out there for a little bit longer, but then I heard this show go over the air, and I was like, no, clearly they need my help. I can't let this stand for another week. So now I'm back. Then it's all thanks to you guys.
You had to call Delta and be like, it's an emergency. I have to get back to Detroit.
Yeah. So I mean, I could have very easily just walked off into the wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, and you would have never heard from me again.
Because you would have died.
No, I would have. Well,
you've been eaten by a bear.
I would have died happy.
All right, I guess that's fair, maybe.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed my time. By the way, if you haven't listened to it yet, make sure you check out the Checkpoint Radio podcast. We talk about unplugging and becoming burnt out from gaming, which I feel like if you're plugged into the discussions around Final Encountercast and LBR, might give you some insight into maybe a little bit of drama that's been going around lately that we'll talk about on Limit Break Radio, I'm sure.
You think we're going to address that this week?
I think so.
Oh.
I mean, why not?
I'd like to say to the people who watch FEC that don't watch LBR, because maybe you're not really into FF11 or...
No, you got it right. You're right.
Yeah, FF11 or FF14.
It's all bad.
Definitely think about watching today, because... it's the return of Reddit.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that on LBR. But yeah, I had a really, really good time just kind of being up in the Seattle area. It was gorgeous. I did not spend a whole lot of time on my phone except figuring out where to navigate to the next place. Barely played any video games, and that's the way that I wanted it. Like, yeah. I really wanted to unplug and recharge, which is, I think, the name of the episode, if I'm not
something like that.
Mistaken.
Unplugged and recharge or something.
That's right. So we've also noticed a couple of requests lately from our listeners that they feel like they're being spammed with Checkpoint content on their podcast feed. So here's the thing. I want to encourage. Like, we've got a quota that we've got to meet. Like, now, because Checkpoint Radio is being held to some pretty real and serious standards. Mm-hmm. We've got quotas that we've got to meet. So we've got to meet some growth quotas. So what I need all of you guys to do is to start sharing Checkpoint Radio, the podcast, the website, the radio show, and once we get about 1,000 more subscribers on the Checkpoint Radio podcast feed, then you know what, I think that then we can start removing them from things like Final Encountercast and Limit Break Radio, but. That requires your guys' participation. We need you guys to be involved in that. So please do us a favor and go ahead and share on social media, share with your friends, share with people at bus stops.
Bus stops.
Play it
What's
really.
A bus stop?
Play it really loudly in your car so that other people can appreciate our opinions as well.
Convince all your Lyft and Uber drivers to start listening.
That's right. Volkai's doing his work. So
don't mention Volkai.
No, you know what? Nate's right. He's actually doing us a service, playing it for anyone that he picks up.
That's right.
A lot more than a lot of people do.
That's
all
right.
Of his weird, ugly customers that get in his Lyft specifically.
So just real quick before we move on into the news, I needed to share a story that happened to me because. And talking about Lyft kind of reminded me of this. So I am. This was actually when I came back from San Diego. Not even when I came back from Seattle. So overnight parking at the airport, obviously, ridiculously expensive. It's actually cheaper for me to Uber there and back.
Yeah.
So Uber driver picks me up while I'm coming back to my apartment from the airport. And we start talking about video games. It's like middle of the day. This guy seems pretty normal. He's driving a BMW. Out of nowhere, we're like having a nice conversation about FIFA, right? Like I'm telling him about the FIFA tournament that's coming up, right? Out of nowhere, he goes, "So, are there any like sexual video games?"
Oh my god!
Like that. He says it like that.
Are there any like ones I could jack it to?
Oh my god. Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
Opening the door and
jumping out.
Army rolling out of the fucking car.
Just making sure.
You just keep to yourself and never tell a soul.
Yes. Oh my god. That. You just don't say that. It creeped me out. Like it fucking made like
threw up in my mouth a little bit.
And I had already given him my business card at that point. So I'm like, oh no. So I mean, if that guy's listening to me right now, sorry to out you on the air, but
he's got your phone number and address.
Yeah, it's fine. There's
a gate.
There's guards. There's armed guards and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, like, dude, that creeped me out intensely.
Weird customers, right?
Take off your clothes.
And I feel like that's something it's easily Googleable also.
Yeah, did you like give him any suggestions?
I was like, I don't know, man. That's I don't even remember what I said. Like I just like it was sort of like a grenade had gone off next to my head. My ears were ringing, and all I wanted to do was take a shower.
Did the conversation like go back to normal after that? Or was the conversation
dead
over?
silence the rest of the ride. It was
that's unfortunate.
I was done.
Time to put your mouth where our balls are.
Did you give him a tip?
No, I absolutely did not.
Give him the tip. Come on. How could you have a nice conversation with this Lyft or Uber driver or whatever, and then not give him some of your top favorite video game sexual characters that you have in your head?
Because I have so many.
A lot.
I mean, you guys do.
You should have
apparently.
suggested like one that's totally the opposite, and just saw him like write it down.
You should have just said like Yandere Simulator.
Like here's the thing.
Oh god,
here's the thing is
Bubsy really gets me going for me.
If he had tuned in to the most recent Limit Break Radio, I think he would have been pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, did you tell him to?
No, I mean I didn't. I gave him a checkpoint card. So
by the way, that whole ending segment there, both my brother and parents overheard.
Wait,
that delightful fan fiction reading.
Nice.
Yeah.
What?
I got upstairs and my parents were both just staring at me. I'm like, that is unfortunate.
So, yeah, well, you know who was most offended by that Reddit thread? My mom. Because someone posted it to my Facebook page. She found it. And we were celebrating her birthday yesterday. So that was a good...
That was a good
45. That was a good 45 minutes of the conversation right there.
Was that
Poor Mama Nero.
Was that before or after they told you that you need to get a girlfriend?
Oh, that was before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you're saying it went downhill after that?
Yeah, it didn't get any better at any point.
That's a rough day.
Actually, we had a very nice day.
Happy birthday, Mama and
We
Nero.
had a very nice day.
No, it's Mama Nero.
Mama Nero.
Mama Nero. Okay.
That's
Mama
pretty funny.
Nero.
The thing is that it's just really good that she doesn't listen to these shows. Like she hasn't. Like, and I think the conversation around that thread may have dissuaded her from ever maybe checking out these shows. So that's fortunate.
I've had that where my grandmother wants to tune in for a show. I'm like, no.
Just give
Grandma
her check.
just say
give them
her checkpoint.
now.
Yeah, checkpoint is very friendly to all audiences.
That's true.
So, all right. So that's enough yapping from us. Let's check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
All right, guys, we have to start off with some sad news this week. Daniel Licht, the composer for the Dishonored games, as well as Silent Hill Downpour and Book of Memories, passed away this week at the age of 60 after a short battle with sarcoma.
Ooh.
So we're sorry to...
Sucks.
Thoughts go out to him and his family.
Well.
It's not often that we talk about the value of other countries' currencies, but we have to today. The Venezuelan bolivar has dropped so far in value that World of Warcraft gold is now more valuable. WoW gold estimates in at 10,000 to the dollar, while the bolivar is roughly 11,000 to the dollar.
Who's stupid now, bitch?
Wow.
What?
So, I mean, if you...
To be fair, that probably means that World of Warcraft has a larger population than Venezuelan Bolivarians.
I'm just saying, like, it may be a decent time to divest from World of Warcraft
and invest into Bitcoin
or some Venezuelan property.
No, I'm just
because
saying
it's cheap.
It's real cheap, but right now you want to invest in World of Warcraft money. I think this is going. It only has up to go, man.
Well, I think what he's saying is if maybe if you want some seaside property in Venezuela.
Yeah, like if you want something tangible out of the work and effort you've put in on World of Warcraft, now's the time to get it.
Go ahead and then enjoy when the military runs over your complex.
I didn't say go and live there. I said just buy it and then wait about 10 years for all of that shit to shake out.
Ah, okay.
Except that's a terrible idea because clearly a Nightmare Death Rager from World of Warcraft is worth more than beachfront property in Venezuela.
Nightmare Death Rager.
But it's a horse mount.
This is so crazy.
I figured.
Like, it's fun when we get to talk about, like, you can trade currency and turn it into real money through, like, the Blizzard store or Battle.net store and everything like that. But this is what you can get out of it. Now we can have an actual comparison to real world money. So not only does World of Warcraft have a larger population than many countries, it now has more valuable currency than some. Blizzard is going to be able to claim that until the day that company goes under.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, actually, WoW gold farming is probably a pretty viable income source in Venezuela now.
Oh, in Venezuela.
Yeah.
What if Blizzard just announced that they're buying Venezuela?
They probably could.
They got to have a higher GDP.
Then they turn it into an actual theme park, an actual WoW theme park. Come to Venezuela.
Land.
Yeah,
the World of Warcraft.
Absolutely. Unsung Stories' shaky development cycle continues as the original developer has signed over rights to the game and Little Orbit will be taking over. The title's under their belt. How about Barbie and her sister's Puppy Rescue? At least that game came out, I guess, right?
How was Barbie Puppy Rescue fucking?
A game that exists as opposed to...
I assume that would be up your alley.
Didn't
Sure.
I feel like one of those two companies developed Adventure Time games at some point.
That would be Little Orbit.
Okay, all right.
They also made a Kung Fu Panda game at one point, I believe.
When was the last time that anything boasted as the spiritual successor of an actual good game ended up actually being good? Because this was
BioShock.
That was a while ago.
I know, it was a while ago. That's the last time I can think of it.
Because this was being marketed as like the spiritual successor to Final Fantasy Tactics, wasn't it?
No, it had the same guy who designed Final Fantasy Tactics. So the same one of the developers.
He created the concept of it and the artwork for it, I believe, or the character design for it.
Yeah. So he was. I mean, like as far
it's totally
as
Final Fantasy Tactics-esque with a Firefly-esque.
Now, so Little Orbit came out and said, we are basically stripping away a lot of what Playdeck did, and we're kind of taking it back to an earlier development stage to keep going. However, we will be honoring all Kickstarter pledges that were made, so they will be honoring all of those.
I mean, that's $660,000. I mean, that they better be able to cover their ass. I mean, it's the whole thing was a disaster. Did you ever see any screenshots from the development? I mean, it just looked terrible.
A mess. It's been a mess. And
terrible.
Everything that Playdeck was doing was like another bandage to try to get some playable version of it out, and they never did. And they just backburnered it. It was a mess. A Hearthstone streamer by the name of Kriparian uncovered a stream sniping guild. Despite changing his in-game name and using a stream delay, he found it odd when he kept running into the same players in arena mode day after day, and even stranger that those players seemed to have drafted decks specifically to counter his. Sure enough, using another account, he tracked down one of the snipers and uncovered that it was indeed a large guild of people dedicated to ruining his matches specifically. By purging his friends list, he was able to keep people from seeing when he was in games, and for now, it seems to have quieted things down.
Man. Okay, so I mean, I know that we talk about it on this week's Checkpoint Radio, which which, by the way, if you want to hear this week's Checkpoint Radio, it'll be on after Limit Break Radio, around 7-ish, here on twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. By the way, we are going to be, we're going to start doing Checkpoint Radio live. We want to be able to eventually get it to where we can take calls on the show, much like we do here, which, by the way, if you want to line up your call, Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. But we do want to be able to take calls on that show, much like we do here. And to be able to do that, we have to be doing the show live in some capacity. So there's a good chance we're going to be doing it here as well as Facebook Live and possibly even eventually Mixer as well. We'll have more details about that. But this is a topic that we talked about this week on Checkpoint Radio, but we talked about it in relation to PlayerUnknown's Battleground. And one of the things that I said was that this doesn't like. First of all, if you're a streamer, that this kind of comes with the territory.
Right, it's a risk you run.
That is a much more organized, kind of harassment campaign.
To the point where the reason he had to purge his friends list is there were some people that had infiltrated his friends list specifically for the purpose of communicating to the rest of this guild he was on now.
That's pretty fucking extensive. Like that's pretty targeted as well.
Yeah.
And I think the difference between the two situations is that I feel like things like stream delay have more of an impact on a game like PlayerUnknown's Battleground than they would on Hearthstone. Hearthstone, being that it's card driven, your only options to be able to protect yourself are basically hiding the cards that you have, and then it kind of almost feels pointless to be streaming.
Right, because at that point, people who are watching, they just see you pulling cards randomly. It doesn't help any.
Exactly.
Right. Well, plus, those streamers also like to talk about, what moves they're going to make or what moves they could possibly make, and if you have to hide your cards, you can't then talk about what cards you have and the possibilities that you have coming up.
Yeah. Right, and in addition, the way that they were sniping him, he's playing arena mode, which is basically draft. You draft a deck of 30 cards and you go play. So they were able to watch exactly which cards he drafted and then draft their own decks to counteract that.
Yeah.
But is there a reason that they were targeting this guy? Like, is he an asshole or are they just assholes? Like, why would they target that guy specifically?
I'm willing to bet it's like any of these jokes where it started off as like, hey, I'm sniping this guy head. It's pretty funny, and then they just kind of keep snowballing and getting bigger and bigger, and now there's a guild dedicated to it.
Yeah, the
joke is running.
Yeah, that's the thing is that who struck the first blow? Who's really the? Who
he gets
knows?
really salty about snipers all the time, so people purposely try to snipe him, and then it's really funny because he gets mad online.
Yeah, you sort of play into the stereotype. People, and
if you are being sniped, what other option do you have? Like, you can either just roll with it and keep losing and be like, it's whatever, guys, or you can play into it, rage a little bit, and maybe get some attention onto yourself.
I think people really misunderstand how streamers are kind of utilizing the Twitch fails compilation videos or subreddits. You have these big compilations of Twitch fails. For example, that French girl lighting her fucking hair on fire.
So good.
Right?
The guy getting scared to death by his baby.
The baby one, that I think was legitimate. The girl lighting her hair on fire, I think that was done on purpose. I'm not gonna lie. I think that was done on purpose. But that's the thing is that Twitch streamers, and especially the good ones, are very aware of the way that breakdowns and tantrums and Twitch fails and all of these different things get you attention. YouTubers have unlocked that puzzle a long time ago. TV unlocked that puzzle a long time ago. Radio, even before that, movies.
Limit Break Radio unlocked that puzzle a long time ago.
This is not a fucking secret. It's
papyruses, stone tablets. Thanks, Moses.
I the people who think that it's Twitch, so there's some sort of higher standard that you're held to outside of any other form of entertainment.
No.
Oh, honey.
No. In fact, there's less of a standard.
Why do I not have that drop?
What?
Oh, honey?
Oh, honey? We say that all the time.
We do need to know honey drop.
I don't know. Yeah. I can't be responsible for finding all of the good drops.
Yeah, only Twin Peaks related ones.
That's right.
Like this.
See? I have to, dude. Those drops are that specific collection of drops right there is amazing.
Let's just call a spade,
right?
What does that mean?
He's just agreeing with the drop because he found the drop.
I love those drops. Anyway, but what
does he do about this though?
Yeah,
You know?
what if you're Crip? What is your plan of action? Like, right now he has banned everyone off his friends list so they can't see when he's
Right.
playing or going
Like,
to these
you know,
matches. But like, that's a shitty way to have to play. You're not allowed to have a friends list anymore.
Yeah, in the player
Yeah, but
unknowns.
you can still follow him and see when he goes live. So
Right, but this is what I mean. In the case of PlayerUnknown's Battleground, this is the first time that a company has banned someone or a developer has banned someone for something that's technically happening outside of the game. Right? There's no precedent for that.
Right.
I guess until now. So when you actually have this huge, enormous contingent of people whose sole purpose is to snipe one guy. Like, as Blizzard, do you even worry about it?
Does Blizzard step in at this point?
Well, this
Like-
seems a whole lot more. This seems a whole lot more actionable than what PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds
Yes,
had. Like
it
this guy,
certainly does.
this guy even has a screenshot of him talking with one of the people in this guild because he was on a different account and trying to find out what was going on. So he's got this guy telling him what they're all doing. That's how we found out about all of it. I feel like you've got that's way more actionable if Blizzard wants to take a step towards stopping stream sniping, which. If it's me, go for it, Blizzard.
Yeah,
especially
in a case like this,
especially for a game like Hearthstone, which
actually has its place in esports a lot. The foundation's a lot more solid than what PlayerUnknown Battleground is cultivating right now.
Poochie Woochie in the chat saying no. Blizzard has an official an announcement stating stream sniping is the streamer's dumb own fault.
All right, well.
Probably paraphrased. I can't imagine they said it like that.
I can.
I mean, again, though, when you're talking about a game like PlayerUnknown's Battleground, it is their fault. Also, if it really did mean this much to Crip, don't stream your matches then. I think that's the simplest answer.
You're telling him not to work then. I mean, he has thousands of people watching him every day, so this is how he makes money.
It's your career, but at the same time,
stream sniping doesn't stop you from making money. It sucks that you're losing, but you're still getting those views.
Isn't this kind of analogous to trying to have a heckler arrested? You can tear into a heckler, but isn't this kind of analogous to that?
In a way,
it comes with the territory of being a comedian. You're going to deal with hecklers.
Yeah.
Except in this case, there's a whole bunch of hecklers, and they are getting together and planning how to do it outside of your show.
the entire fucking room. You've got roving gangs of hecklers that go to every show. They follow you like deadheads, and they just make sure that they can fuck up every single show. It's not completely the analogy doesn't totally hold up.
Yeah, it's not quite.
But I do understand what you're driving at. But I still at the same time though, it's his job, but this comes with the territory, right? It would be like me genuinely getting ass hurt about things like Reddit or YouTube comments or
what?
You know what I mean?
You don't actually get mad about it?
No. Oh no.
Oh no.
Have I exposed? Did I expose the business? Shit.
People think that you rage to us all week about this stuff.
That's actually the funny part is that they think behind the scenes I'm really upset by it, but I think I might be the person who takes the most genuine pleasure.
Yeah, all of us are typically kind of all right, and then you're giddy.
He jerks off to it. That's not a joke.
Yeah. It's an exaggeration, but it gives it's more like it gives me a half chub, right? I don't know that I could eke out an orgasm to it.
Chris could.
It'd need a little bit more help.
About people talking about me.
It would. Oh man, it would not be a very satisfying orgasm, that's for sure. It'd be one of those
how often are they anymore?
60%ers, you know what I mean? It's just
It can just kind of you're all floppy in your dick and it just kind of oozes out and it's no, there's no pressure. It's just kind of one of those volcanic eruptions that are just
yeah, sure, one of those ones where you're doing it just because it's on the routine. There's no need behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just biological urges at that point. There's no sexuality behind it.
It's just to lose a little bit of weight.
Just to have something to do on a Thursday afternoon. It's one of those where you're soft enough where like when you're getting your jack on, like your head, you can actually feel the head of your penis like moving around.
Yeah, like dropping down into your palm. Yeah, it's no good, man. You're worried you're like gonna tear something.
Yeah,
it's not
and
good.
then it just like kind of splits in half, and then you have like 2 nibs of the head coming off at the same time.
What?
Fuck. What?
What?
Oh, never mind. That's a different thing then.
Man, I can't believe I'm saying this, but he really took that conversation off the rails.
Yeah. I didn't know that was possible to do. I thought I was taking it as far off the rails as it could go.
I'm removing the rails altogether.
I was as dedicated as you were, but he...
Yeah, now we're driving Rainbow Road. What the fuck? What was that?
Yeah, it's so hard. We have to like jump off the edge to like cut off a third of the course. It's rough. You go.
Are there
right
people
over.
actually still listening to this crap? Like,
I am.
I tuned it out like 2 minutes ago.
I can't go anywhere.
I can't imagine.
Whatever, you bitch!
The chat has gotten quiet. All right, let's move on. Where did we start? What news story was that?
Stream sniping.
We're talking
Stream
about
sniping.
Okay, there we go.
And their 6 rainbows.
Sure. Ubisoft's Rainbow Six Siege is enjoying great success as the company recently announced the game has passed 20 million registered players. With over 2.3 million users logging in daily to the team-based shooter, it doesn't look like it'll be going anywhere anytime soon.
I have a few friends that have been trying to get me to download and play this. So, I mean, I've been hearing some pretty positive things about it, but I don't know, when it comes to just like your straight, like, Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six or Call of Duty type
military
multiplayer.
shooters. Yeah.
It doesn't really
Modern Warfare
doesn't really do it for me as far as the multiplayer aspect goes.
Dude, I've had several people sing the praises of Tom Clancy games recently, and I went, wait a minute, is this 2001?
No, it's even earlier. Like, wasn't the first Rainbow Six on like Genesis? Or was it on N64?
What?
N64.
I
right?
remember. No, I recall that being on PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation's where I put my money.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember the first Rainbow Six. That was the last Tom Clancy game that I played, and it was good, but I wouldn't have predicted it'd still be around 20 years later.
Yeah. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege is. I mean, watching videos and streams of it really seems like it's a legit shooter, though.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Like in the past, I think, like Robbie, if I was going to go for a military shooter, I'm a little bit more comfortable with Call of Duty multiplayer. So I've gone with Call of Duty in the past, but like the aspect where you can like blow holes in walls and floors and shit like that is, I think, really fucking cool.
Destructible environment, absolutely.
Yeah, if I was going to go after, like, if I was going to go for an active military shooter or squad-based military shooter, I think I'd probably go Rainbow Six at this point.
That's what I always liked about that original Rainbow Six, was the ability to like tell your other squad like where to go on the map and like when to like stop here, pause, then move on to here. Like you could really get very tactical with it.
Well, and that's the thing, is that Rainbow Six, I think in its earliest incarnations, really felt like there was an element missing because it wasn't terribly multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
Like you were giving orders to your squad, and I don't know, like that was not that satisfying to me, but you combine it in a multiplayer environment and I think it becomes instantly a lot more interesting.
Oh yeah, Kooky confirming N64 1998. I thought I had on
Get
N64.
the fuck out of here.
N64, PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Game Boy Color.
Wow.
On Game Boy Color
isn't on there. What?
Yeah, it's
he's got the wiki
on
up.
the Wikipedia.
Oh
yeah,
God.
Game Boy Color.
Step up your game, kook.
I mean, it's got to be a completely different version.
Yeah,
if it's
what
on
is
the Game
that?
Boy Color.
Well,
N64 and PlayStation 1, there was a bit of the crossover there where there were titles that were being released for all of those systems at
Operation Winback. You remember Winback?
No.
It was a third-person shooter and it was
No.
trash.
Operation
That's why no one
WinRAR.
remembers it.
I remember WinRAR.
Download or donate to
I
them
still
so they
use
get money.
WinRAR.
How about Mission Impossible? The game was impossible.
How
That wasn't supposed to happen.
How about Winamp?
Winamp.
I see streamers still use that.
It really whips the llama's ass.
Wow. What a reference.
You guys remember that?
I do.
That was a sound file that came with every download.
We just made him leave over that line.
Good. I was wondering what
doesn't
it
come
would
back.
What would it take?
Yeah.
The llama's ass. That's what it takes.
All right. Niantic may have delayed the upcoming Safari Zone events in Europe until they can be sure the game will function properly at them. But that doesn't mean Europe is getting nothing. Until August 21st, Kangaskhan and Unknown will be making appearances in various cities across Europe. I want Kangaskhan.
Apparently, the unknowns
that's original. What?
Apparently, the unknowns that you can catch all spell out Europe.
I was just about to ask which unknowns.
Because the ones that you guys could get in Chicago spelled out Chicago, right?
Right.
Yes. Correct.
Yep.
But so they're getting Australia's regional in Europe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bullshit. We should get that.
I wonder if it's everywhere, if it's just at those specific locations that the
just at the cities that are listed.
That the Safari. Oh, it's the actual cities though, not just the malls.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cities that are listed as getting it.
Yeah, it's pretty widespread. Like, I feel like if you live in Europe, you don't.
You can probably get to one of those.
We made a mistake at our United States events, so to make it up to Europe, you get extra stuff.
Well, we still got. I mean, Heracross.
Yeah. And
you guys got Heracross. I can't just go to a random city in the United States and get a Heracross.
Okay, well, it's not going to be random for this either. They had announced that there was going to be specific malls in specific cities that would be housing Safari Zones. Those cities, like Chicago, will have them.
Right.
Like that's multiple cities, right? And you can just go. You don't have to sign up for the event. Right?
Oh, okay, but Europe's a lot bigger place than.
I get what Nika's saying, because it's not like it was just North America that got the bonuses for the Pokemon Fest week. It was worldwide.
So bonuses, yes.
Oh, Pokemon Go Talk.
So yeah, this is them getting Kangaskhan.
Farfetch'd or something, and a couple It was like one major city in each state give us a.
Well, once it gets closer to the actual events going down, they could actually have or release some type of bonuses that the world does get.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is probably a soft launch for something that's a little bit more widespread.
Yeah. What you should be worried about right now is finding a friend who can go to one of those locations, log into your account on their phone, and get you the Kangaskhan.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, European listeners, get in touch with us. We need people.
Here's I need a Moltres still. Like, I'm just 0 for 3 on Moltres.
I've got
Are you
3.
serious?
I am.
Let's just end the show and go get one.
You wanna?
I'm 3 out of 4.
All right, we can just go.
I need one more to make my party.
Wait, why do you need a party full of Moltres?
Well, because I've got a party of Lugias and Articunos.
Oh my god!
I've got more than a party of Articunos.
Oh yeah, I've got like 12 Articunos.
I've got 8 Articunos, 4 Lugias, and 3 Moltres.
I just really need one. I just want to make sure that it's in my decks before I lose. What's the last day? What's the last day? The 7th?
I think Tuesday Zapdos comes out.
Jesus.
Yeah, Monday's your last
So
day,
you'll have basically all of Monday.
Well, okay, Monday is when Zapdos comes out, but it's after.
No.
Nika, stop interrupting my joke,
that's not true,
Nika.
Fine.
Thank you. Zapdos
Sounds
comes
so
out on
defeated.
Monday at 8 o'clock when all the raids end for East Coast.
Okay.
So Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's not a joke.
Okay.
I get it. Interrupted.
Thank
Nika.
you.
No, it would not have been more funny.
No, because we all already experienced this when Moltres came out, and we were all mad about it already. So, no.
We're all buttheel.
Give me more time, man. I mean, there's no way that I'm going to be able to go into one today, because the thing is that there's no consistent raid players in like the downtown area.
No. God, no, Detroit sucks for raiding.
It's pretty much Royal Oak, is probably the closest regular spot that anyone actually gathers.
Yep. I know Birmingham has a big crowd out there, but I don't go out to Birmingham.
I don't go to Birmingham.
I'm not parking in Birmingham to
Fuck no.
catch a raid. Hell no.
Fuck no.
You guys should come visit me. There's a very nice raiding scene out here.
Well, good for you.
and up in Flint.
I was going to say, even in Flint yesterday, we had up to 40 people at one point.
Well, you guys have nothing else to do up there.
Right.
Besides get shot.
What are you going to do? Drink the water?
That's why I just visit now.
Okay, can you at least put a little bit more effort into water jokes?
No.
Have some respect, okay?
Are all your Staryu part poison type?
Yes. See
Okay,
that?
just
There
checking.
you go. Thank you. Effort in the water joke. That just you gotta drink the water and get it because the water's bad.
Yeah,
in
but his
Flint.
got more laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's because you made the other joke.
That's true.
Anyway, so yeah, I think we do need to end the show early so that we can all try to go, because I think with the 4 of us, we might be able to even take down.
You can
Moltres.
probably kill him all.
Well, I'll be at a wedding, but
Yeah, except
will you? Yeah, except will you?
will you? Moltres is pretty easy to put down.
Yeah,
Moltres goes down
Actually,
easy.
here's what you should do. Since he's going to be somewhere where there's lots of raids, give him your account and password. Have him log in and do the raid for you.
Does Ann Arbor even have a good scene for that?
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea. I've never been.
They should. One of the chicks that I met yesterday in Flint is originally from Ann Arbor. She says they have like a Discord and everything, and that it's rolled it down.
Yeah, I know there is a Discord dedicated to Ann Arbor. So
well, I mean, yeah, but there's a Discord dedicated to Wayne. Nobody uses it. There's a Discord dedicated to Oakland County. It's a crapshoot. Like that, and that was the problem that I was saying with Legendary rating when they first started to put it out. Is like even still, without an ability to know how many people are already gathered just through the phone and having to like find the people in real life and go, hey, are you playing Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
Like
it's usually pretty obvious though. There's
a group of like at least like 3 people or more with their phones out.
Yeah, no, and I get that, but it should be intrinsic through the app.
I agree.
Like there's got to be a way to figure without blowing the fucking raid pass. Yeah, absolutely. Because then, I mean, let's say you blow the raid pass, you got to leave. Like, dude, like what are you gonna do? Wait around for like 2 fucking hours for people to show up? Like, dude.
Yeah, I've done that more times than I'm happy to admit.
Where are you finding this time to wait around for raids?
Like 9 in the morning before work.
Jeez.
When do you have time to masturbate?
Well, okay, apparently
listen,
the way that you
everything
masturbate is in like 30 seconds.
I don't sleep very much anymore. Let's just put that out there. Sorry. I'm busy masturbating.
Okay,
No.
that's fine.
Stories out there. Everyone knows.
But yeah, I still think that the rating is
Flawed.
Is flawed. Yeah,
I agree.
And I mean, because I've seen so many, like Lugias and Articuno and Moltres that are just kind of a little bit off the beaten path, and even through encouragement on Discord to get people out, it's still like probably a 1 in 10 chance if you're going to be able to do it.
I think one of the biggest problems is that you can't put them in gyms, and I get why you can't because
that's all you'd ever see.
But because you can't, most people just catch one and they're done.
Yeah,
they get the decks. They don't care about powering it up because they're good powered up, but they're not earth-shatteringly good.
Yeah, but the problem...
Lugia is pretty decent.
Lugia is pretty good.
It's in the
but
3K.
He is, but like...
Moltres is junk.
My Tyranitar is still better. Articuno's trash.
This isn't just a problem with legendary raids, though. Even just like the 4-star raids, people don't really do at this point now.
Only Tyranitars I see, and Lapras sometimes.
Yeah.
It's mostly Tyranitar.
Yeah.
They need
and
to...
Machamps to fight the Tyranitar's.
They needed to introduce some type of mechanic that even if you don't have a full party that can take down in one go, that you can keep trying, because here's the thing, even if you can keep going in and keep trying, whittling it down more and more and more, you still have to spend time doing that. You still have to have the items and the potions to heal your Pokemon back up to do it.
You could do it like the motivation thing. Even if you lose, his motivation drops, and then he's a lower CP on your next attempt to go in.
Exactly.
You could do something like that.
Yeah, especially because the counters are 2 hours. You know what I mean?
You got plenty of time. If you're willing, and you're going to drop a ton of revives.
Yeah.
Doing that.
And that's the thing is that, I mean, I think gym battling in general has kind of bottomed out. Nobody's really fighting for gyms, and if they do, they put things like Weedles and Caterpies.
I fucking hate those kind of people.
Who would do that?
People do that so they can use their strong guys to battle the raids.
Well, no, I'm fine with putting.
No one's caring with the gyms. They just sit there, and the little Caterpie will bring you back 50 coins.
No, these guys
player haters.
These guys did it to the gym around the corner just to be a dick.
Yeah,
just to be a dick.
Anyway,
it's because we're the meme team.
Oh my god,
Caterpie and Weedle, bro.
I love when I see the baby Pokemon in the gyms.
In more traditional
like
Pokemon, I fucking hate
Okay, but so did we complain about how there's like 800 different cities in Europe that's getting this event, and we only had Chicago?
Yes.
Yes.
Nika complained about that.
Nika complained thoroughly about that.
I complained too.
Well, then your complaint is noted. It's lodged. We'll make sure to forward it on to Niantic.
Really?
No.
Well, why would you lie to that?
We're going to throw it in the garbage. That's what we're going to do.
Apparently, people in Europe are complaining that it's like in only these cities.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're complaining that it's only all the way across Europe.
You know what? Fuck you, Europe.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Fuck you,
You're
Europe.
all good? Okay. In more
Fuck
traditional...
Europe.
God damn it. In more traditional
Pokemon
news.
I'm
not doing this.
Oh, come on!
The Pokemon Company has revealed a new form of Lycanroc that will be available in Ultra Sun and Moon. Dusk form Lycanroc will be available in the games dropping on November 17th.
Wait, Ultra Sun and Moon. We just got Sun and Moon. Why do we need remade versions already?
Last year.
So you can get Ultra Lycanroc, or you can get Dusk Lycanroc.
Listen,
and a new story.
I am willing to give this the benefit of the doubt, only because I really liked Black and White 2 over Black and White 1.
So are Ultra Sun and Moon, they're different than like Heart Gold and
Yes, this is
Soul Silver.
it's
They're
an
like
alternate
sequels.
story. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, but the thing is that, chances are that we're going to have a lot of things that were left out of Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
We're probably going to get more ability trainers for, BP or whatever. We're probably going to end up getting a full Pokedex beyond 301.
Yep.
And I mean, like, I think that there are some very necessary changes that are going on. I really hope that they ditch the festival plaza. Like, I really fucking hope that they ditch.
It was really weird the way it was set up too. I hate it. Like, I tried.
What was the one in X and Y and Oris? Was it like PSS, player search system or something like that? That was so much better. Like, that system actually felt like, it's like any other kind of matchmaking or online system, except dumbed down a little bit for Pokemon.
Literally, you select how many Pokemon do you want to battle with? Do you want to battle with people online? Yes, cool, we're matching you.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like you've got to go to the trouble of like making sure that your friend is online, and that then you've got to find them in your fucking festival plaza, and then you've got to register them. It's just there's all this overcomplicated shit.
Festival Plaza was so shitty.
It was the worst. It was
the amount of times
actively the worst part of that game.
Like I knew my friend was in there, but I had no idea how to actually like add them beyond that. Oh, it was the worst. It was so bad.
Yeah. So the new form of Lycanroc, I don't know why everyone seems to be freaking out about this. It's just
looks like a pupper.
It's a different shade of the other Lycanrocs.
And it's got like a big fluffy tail thing.
It's a good old doggo right there.
I mean, is there? I don't understand why everyone's shitting their pants about it. Like,
all the
people
reactions
are shitting their pants for this thing.
All the reactions I've been seeing have been negative.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I've just been seeing it in a lot of different, like Facebook groups and shit like that. Like, people have just been posting about it a lot. But the thing is like it doesn't vary the form that much, so it's not like evidence that we're going to get added Alolan forms.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be cool. Like, if they added more Alolan forms, I think that it's a pretty foregone conclusion that we're going to get maybe a couple of new Ultra Beasts, and then we've got Necrozma in the way that it's apparently going to fuse with other Ultra Beasts. I don't know.
I don't think
Symbiote Pokemon.
I don't think we're getting any new Pokemon in this. I think we're just getting different forms.
Well, you're getting new forms of
that's not a new Pokemon.
Solgaleo and
that's just an alternate form.
Right.
He's saying you're not going to get like any new families.
You're not going to get any new Ultra Beasts because those are technically Pokemon.
I think there's probably going to be one or two in there.
I was gonna say, well, yeah, they have to at least come out with some type of like big event type one. Like we might get one or two new like Ultra Beasts or legendaries.
Yeah,
that you have to go to GameStop to get or whatever.
Mythics.
You guys are
reaching. Film Mythics.
We've never gotten new Pokemon in like an upgraded version.
What was that last one that we got that was like a clockwork fairy type or something?
That's this generation.
Yeah, that's this one. That's
I mean, they released it early so you could like see what it was.
Right. So what I think he means is that with a new game being released, that we might get some type
we'll get access to that now,
or something like that. Yeah. Wait, no, that's in game. I have that.
Oh, then
no. I think we'll probably get new Alolan forms of shit.
Yeah,
that
maybe
we've already,
new Alolan forms.
Yeah,
because that's just alternate form. God, I hate fucking Pokemon.
And they're still they still count as the same Dex number too.
Yeah.
So I definitely think we're gonna get. That we're gonna get.
They count as the same Dex number. It's not a new Pokemon.
Nope.
No.
That's
Sandshrew Ice and Sandshrew Ground are the same Pokemon.
One.
Same Dex.
Yeah.
Man.
So wait, does your Dex look exactly the same whether or not you have the Ice version?
It's like catching.
Oh my God! No.
It's like catching multiple unknowns. Like if you go to the actual entry, then you can see all the forms.
Yep.
No.
Have they changed it so you can see like mega forms yet?
I don't know.
No, because you got to have the stone, and not even
so dumb.
Not even all the stones are in the game yet.
And which apparently, Nate just actually informed me of this a few weeks ago, that every game you have to re-get the stones.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Items don't go in the Pokebank, do they?
No, they don't. You can trade stones. Wow, Nika, type louder.
Stop.
Jesus.
Sorry.
You're not.
So
You're fired.
you can trade stones. You can trade mega stones if you do a player-to-player trade. But you can't send them over GTS. You can't send them over Wonder Trade. So there's no way to be able to just kind of collect them over time.
Unless you have someone who can hack the game.
That's true. That's true. But for things like Mega Charizard X and Y, Venusaur, and Blastoise, that's locked behind 20 Battle Tree wins. So right, like they like there's actually like kind of a point to do it though. Like that's actually a pretty decent fucking reward. That kept me doing Battle Tree long after I should have burnt out. Yeah. So I don't know. There are aspects to Ultra Sun and Moon that I think are going to be good and that are going to be improved on from the original Sun and Moon. But I mean, will it be a massively? I think it'll be a better game overall.
But it's going to have a new story, right?
Yeah.
Or it's listed as an alternate story. I assume that means a different story.
But does that mean you're going to be the same character with an alternate story, or is a completely different character?
We don't know.
One of the things that you guys talked about last week was the new Pokemon animated movie and what it's doing to readjust the canon. Yeah. No. So my theory on that is that they're getting players ready to go back to the Kanto.
Again?
Yeah. But the thing is that when you go back to Kanto, I think it'll be an updated version of Kanto. So I don't think I don't think it's going to just be red. I mean, red, blue. Red and like updated versions of Red and Blue. I think it's going to be an all new adventure where time has passed between.
Yeah, because Red and Blue were in the game and they're like 10 years older.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's got to at least be 10 years past, and it's quite possible we could even get another cameo from Red and Blue in Kanto, being like, "Whoa, so much has changed."
Besides seeing the aged versions of Red and Blue, when they were first advertising for Sun and Moon, they were all like, "It's time to go back to the beginning" or something like that. Was that the only back to the beginning sort of thing that we had in Sun and Moon?
I think so. It's weird because so much of the game was like your character's from Kanto, and at the end of the game they're like, Lily goes to Kanto. Why don't you go visit her in Kanto? And I'm like, cool. And I go to the boat, and it's like, you can't go to Kanto.
So I'm wondering now.
The game literally told me to go to Kanto. They can't go to Kanto.
If Ultra Sun and Moon does end up taking us back, that is a long payoff for having advertised with the original one back to the beginning.
No. I don't think Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are going to take us back to Kanto. I think whatever the next game
the one that's on the Switch or something, maybe.
Yeah,
the one on the Switch.
Either the one on the Switch, or they could probably get away with one more 3DS game.
If they start back in Kanto on the Switch, there's something about that while annoying is also kind of fitting.
And also, I think that there's the possibility that they might be able to, if they're going to figure out a dual development path, that they could possibly do a game on both the 3DS and the Nintendo Switch. There's a lot that you'd have to be able to figure out in that. But
if they go back to Kanto, what do they call it? Crimson and Azure? Like you would have to do some kind of play off it being Red and Blue, right?
Red 2, Blue 2.
Valor and Mystic.
Instinct is just left out.
Yeah.
They get the half game released a year later.
Pokemon Yellow was the best out of the three.
Shut up.
Yeah, because Pikachu's so great.
No, you could get all the starters plus Pikachu, though. It wasn't just... That was the best part.
Okay.
I mean,
you could get all the starters just from like quests. It was cool.
Wasn't Pikachu originally only in blue version?
No,
he was in both in the power plant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Power plant? He was in Viridian Forest, you fucking pleb.
Yeah, but that was so hard to catch him there.
Also in the power plant, though.
It was really hard to catch him in Viridian Forest. He was really rare spawn.
Man, how do you remember this stuff?
He was like 5%.
Okay, let me tell you.
That's not hard.
Did you play the new Red and Blue that released?
No. I'd never played those. I played Pokemon Blue, I think, every single summer for like 6 years. I played it to full completion. I had every single trainer and every single of my Pokedex filled. I saved all of my like strongest Pokemon in Pokemon Stadium so that I'd have them forever, and I replayed the game a million times. Like,
You were a
played
nerd.
that game inside and out. Oh, yeah. Totally.
Get a life.
I used to go camping every year with one of my best friends in middle school and high school, and so we would go on vacation and like sit out in the hammocks and camping and playing Pokemon on our Game
That's
Boys.
fair.
So.
I would much rather play Pokemon than camp any day.
How did you play this game so much and still be so bad?
I'm not at Blue. I'm awesome at Pokemon Blue.
Yeah, because you could just earthquake everything to death.
Yeah, come on. Easy mode, LOL.
But yeah, no, I do think that between the movies and all of the hints that they've gone through in Sun and Moon, that I think Kanto is pretty high on the list for going back to. So, and it would generate so much attention.
It'd be a lot of buzz would come around that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but we're not exactly huge fans of when video game characters are used to advertise a product. It's not exactly something we love, but here's one that at least makes sense to me. Guile is now selling J-Gel brand hair gel. I guess it's better than Nissan's.
Cool.
That's just what the company's called, J-Gel.
Shouldn't it be G-Gel for Guile?
The company is called J-Gel.
You should probably rename the company.
Clearly.
I mean...
Or just call him Gile.
It's still spelled with a G.
I mean, you could spell Gile with a J, too.
I mean, he's not wrong. It does make more sense than Lightning selling cars and shoes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, at least when I see, Guile's, ridiculous hair, I'm like, yeah, okay.
It's always so fluffy when he, goes... combs through it, so is that really gel?
And now Kooky sent us the picture. They've got the Sonic and Knuckles brand face skin treatment. I just don't get the connection.
What does one have to do with the other?
Right,
they're trying to just advertise to a different market. That's all.
Right, but if you're gonna do Sonic, why not a foot care product?
Are you kidding? Look at. Have you seen a blemish on Sonic's face in 20 years? No, you haven't.
Have you seen a Sonic on any video game character's face in 20 years?
There's definitely a blemish on his games, though.
I think
that's not a skin blemish, though.
I think Booger Man had pimples.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a reference that I did not expect to hear today. Fair enough.
You guys remember Booger Man? I remember Booger Man.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
You could fart at enemies.
And what? And nose booger at people.
Yeah, that was the source of his power.
Did he burp too?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
Quality video game programming, guys.
Oh, the 90s.
Yeah, what a crazy time. What a time to be alive.
Only the 90s could have produced Booger Man and Earthworm Jim.
Oh.
Yeah, but one of those was good.
Yeah, Earthworm Jim was great.
Wait, isn't Earthworm Jim getting some kind of reboot or something?
Oh, God, please
I
no.
hope not, because nothing they've tried to do with him since has been good.
Maybe not. I could be wrong.
Oh, it's possible.
Do you remember the cartoon of Earthworm Jim?
Oh, my God,
No.
yeah.
It was so good.
Oh.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Their portrayal of Psycho was pretty good.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
A++. Would watch again.
From the news desk of Chris, a marijuana company called American Green Incorporated has purchased the entire 80-acre town of Nipton, California, and is converting it into, quote, an energy-independent, cannabis-friendly hospitality destination.
Nice.
Which incidentally is a line no high person has ever spoken.
Nice.
So what does this have to do with video games?
News desk of Chris, don't ask me.
Yeah, what does this have to do with video games?
Okay, what does Thor and Marvel stuff have to do with video games?
No, but that's
usually not in our news section.
I feel like you could at least appreciate a town being bought up by a marijuana company.
The idea that this marijuana company just said, yeah, we'll take the whole town.
They bought the town. There's 80 people in it.
No, there's far less than that.
Oh,
there's
10
21 people who live there.
This is as bad as Facebook making a town, which is a thing.
I don't.
Oh,
no,
that's horrifying.
Weed is good.
I don't see what the correlation there is, but I mean, first of all, look, big companies are big companies. It doesn't matter what the fuck they make. Even just because I like marijuana doesn't mean that I think that this is necessarily a good idea. That dislocated, 21 people. That's
supposedly they're all still going to live and work there. Because before this, the town's leading export, I guess,
depression and sadness.
Industry, apart from depression, was scratch-off lottery tickets at the general store.
So I was right the first time.
Because you can't buy them in Nevada. People would jump the border to buy scratch-off lottery tickets in this town.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing is if it provides economic opportunities to the town and they're not displacing people off of property that they own or forcibly evicting people, that would be pretty shitty if they did that.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
But what weed company would ever do that? They're chill people.
I just don't know if we like the idea of the corporatization of weed.
Yeah, like the minute that like Marlboro and Salem and
it's a grassroots industry.
Virginia Slim starts getting involved in the marijuana industry, like that's actually some shit to pay attention to and beware of. Like that actually. Companies that have shown a willingness to poison and then lie to their consumers. Yeah, like
absolutely.
I think that fucking Monsanto. If Monsanto started getting into the weed game, or Dow Chemical, I would definitely be really concerned about that.
How has that not already happened?
The legality, as far as I can tell, is really the fact that it's still federally illegal, and they have such deep pockets and they do such good business already in tobacco or whatever whatever chemicals they peddle. But it's been theorized that as soon as the legality issue gets cleared up, that they're going to be among the first that try to step into that game. Yeah, and there are some people who. And I don't know, it's pretty tinfoil hatty because I've not seen really good evidence of it, but there are people who say that privately or secretly that some of these companies have already started like seed banks and
definitely,
and like have started preparing for when that domino falls.
Right.
They're going to be there the next day.
Right.
So, and they also have the ability to buy up a whole lot of grassroots, small farms, things like that. Like, you want to talk about co-opting land and opportunities. Like that's those are some companies that wouldn't shy away from something like that.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is continuing to climb the charts both in sales and in users. The title, which has moved over 6 million copies, surpassed Counter-Strike Global Offensive for concurrent users on the Steam charts for the first time this week. They're still about 200,000 shy of catching the perennial leader, Dota 2, but it's a rare day indeed when CSGO isn't number 2 on that list.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah, Counter-Strike has been unseated for the first time in a long, long time for concurrent users.
Good. Counter-Strike's boring.
And it's only going to be going up.
CSGO is probably shrinking at this point.
Well,
it's probably past its peak, I would imagine.
Not even that, but think about the fact that PlayerUnknown's Battleground isn't officially on the marketplace.
Yeah, I guess.
It's still in beta, so they're not advertising it or something.
Early access, but you have to realize that means it's only on PC. When this comes out for Xbox or PS4,
yeah, that's true.
That is a shit ton more people that are going to want to pick that up.
Yeah, is anyone sitting here I'll wait for its official release. I'm not going to buy it now. I think most people
which is obviously why it's doing so well on Steam. I mean, they've sold over 5 million copies, and it's not out on 2 of the biggest consoles in forever.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have to also imagine that even
Switch and 3DS.
Even the people who are playing it on PC have consoles, and I know a bunch of people that when it's available will also buy it on the consoles.
Wow.
Why?
Why? Yeah, why? Why would you do that?
Because some people prefer playing on the consoles.
Admittedly, I'm going to do that for Undertale, but just so I can get the collector's edition.
Why?
I always thought people did the opposite. They start on a console and then realize PC's better and then switch to PC, not the other way around.
Yeah, but there's dumb people too.
There is dumb people.
It's unfortunate.
Dumb people.
To say that Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was a success would be the understatement of the century. It was the world's top-selling console game in June, and it released on June 29th. What? Given that success, it should come as no surprise that Activision is exploring their options with remastering other classics.
So this is probably a foregone conclusion too. Then that we're going to get
a
new
Bubsy? Don't say it.
No,
Fuck you.
We're going to get a next gen Crash game because they said that was part of remastering was that they wanted to see if the demand was there to actually make a new Crash game as well.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm going to put this question out here.
The Crash Mario Party.
Do they get Naughty Dog? Do they try to get Naughty? Because I know that there have been a lot of personnel changes at Naughty Dog since they developed Crash. Who do you try to approach for this? Who do you get a third party and just see what happens? I mean, Activision's got deep pockets.
Mm-hmm. I think you at least have to offer Naughty Dog the chance because just having the whether you're right, it's the original team because probably not on it or not. I think for fans, knowing that Naughty Dog is behind the next new game is gonna go pretty far.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Despite numerous server issues at launch and a still in development single-player campaign, Friday the 13th continues to move copies at breakneck speed. The game has already moved over 1.8 million units in the first 2 months since launch. A recent patch fixed a ton of bugs and improved server performance, and the physical copy of the game has been announced for, of course, October on Friday the 13th.
I mean,
wow.
Horror games sell, man.
I guess so.
Even when they suck at launch.
I saw a video of the mocap for all the deaths in this game.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaking brutal.
Yeah.
And like the game itself is pretty awesome to watch. If you get a chance to like sit down and just like want to watch a gameplay, like that's a good one.
I've had a couple of people now mention that Friday the 13th is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, like now that they fixed it.
Surprisingly.
Like conceptually, it was always pretty strong, but it didn't work at the beginning. Not well.
Think about it this way. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has sold over 5 million copies. This is, you said, almost to 200, right?
It's almost 2 million.
2 million. Oh, sorry. 5 million for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So this is almost to 2 million. It's almost half as many, and it's still in early access too. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with.
I mean, I guess the thing that surprises me is just how well a lot of these early access games are doing. You know what I mean? Like 2 million is nothing to sneeze at.
No, I mean like lots of games, their goal is 2 million.
Yeah.
Like isn't like in the voice actor strike, wasn't their goal to get paid on games that move 2 million copies?
I think that may have been.
Wasn't that the bar that they were looking for?
I don't know. So. I don't remember exactly what the number was.
Yeah, I don't know that that Friday the 13th was a early access right now. It is released on Steam. It's just the physical copy isn't here yet.
Gotcha.
That's what's approaching.
Okay.
But you're right. Like with PUBG, like 6 million units moved before early access is over is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Speaks volumes.
Nintendo has officially announced that there will indeed be an SNES Classic pre-order in North America. I got you covered. I said SNES. You said that was fine. Don't start with me.
No, I can't. I can't.
What?
I can't handle anything about the SNES Classic right now.
Why is that, Chris?
Because we don't know anything about when pre-orders are going up, or if there's going to be pre-orders. Or
there are going to be pre-orders. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, like if I'm actually going to be able to get a pre-order.
What
that's a better
he
question.
means is if he specifically is going to get one.
No, you are not. The pre-orders will go up sometime around the end of August, with the console scheduled to launch September 29th.
So take off the end of August, Chris, so that you're always ready.
I mean, I still don't really understand the appeal outside of playing your nostalgia.
I think that's what it is. That's how they're selling consoles, is literally nostalgia.
I think for a lot of people, it's wanting maybe Star Fox 2.
Is it? Well,
okay,
I think that
too.
That's a massive overvalue right there.
Even after that gets out there, you're eventually going to be able to emulate it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not just that, dude, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like the artificial scarcity around the NES Mini is really just driving the interest in the SNES Classic like through the roof.
You're not wrong.
To the point where like I'm having trouble really understanding why people are so worked up. Like, if you don't get pre-order, if you don't get an SNES Mini, why would that be heartbreaking to you?
Because he wants it.
Why would it be heartbreaking?
Yeah, because you seem really worked out. You're like, don't even mention that system. I don't know that I can get it.
It's because I don't want to know about it. Like, I'm just assuming I'm not going to get one, but I'm still going to keep trying to get one because
So what's the fucking big deal if you don't? That's what I'm saying.
There's not a big deal. I mean, at this point, I already have like all the stuff I need to make like a Raspberry Pi Super Nintendo console.
Right.
So there is no big deal, but I'm still gonna try to get one because if I can do that without having to fuck with SD cards and uploading shit and having my shit be corrupted, I'll pay the $80 to get an SNES Classic.
You're making it sound like building a Raspberry Pi is so hard.
Well, it's hard for me, apparently, but
that's not something I would want to sit around and fidget with. I'd rather just pay $80 and have it all at my fingertips.
It's really there is not that much to fucking fidget with.
Well, I mean, I think like from a collector's standpoint.
Okay, well, no, there's been tons of shit that I fidgeted with. I'm still trying to get it to work, and it's not working. So
he's talking about his dick.
Oh, okay.
What? You tried to fidget with it, and it's not working.
That's completely different.
No, but I mean, like, I sort of feel like the value is massively overinflated, driven by the assumption that it's going to be the scarcity of the SNES Classic that is going to be the big factor here.
My only thing with this that I don't get is like, I get people who want to collect like an original Super Nintendo and want to own all the original games. Like, yeah, I get that's like some people's hobby. That's what they collect. I don't see the purpose of this one.
To me, a Raspberry Pi makes more sense because it's not just an SNES. You've got
it's anything you want.
Yeah, it's literally anything you want.
Sure.
Like, can you imagine Nintendo trying to pass off like a Nintendo 64 Classic, or where does this stop? Like, where does
if Nintendo 64 had a Classic where it had like 164 games, I would buy that in a second. Are you kidding?
They would never. They would never put 164 games for fucking.
But if they did, I would buy it in a second.
There's
they would
20.
Give you 20.
There's 20 fucking. That's my point. Is that with the SNES Classic, there's 20 fucking games. Like, there's not even that many.
How much did the regular Nintendo one have? That one had a lot, didn't it?
It had 30, didn't it? Like
31.
It not even that many. So it's like
there's a lot of duds on there too.
Dude, I have like 2 gig SD cards that you could fit all of that fucking programming on. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like, what are you actually fucking paying for? Like, I would much rather actually go through the hassle of learning how to program a Raspberry Pi, so that way I actually have the knowledge that I can take with me moving forward. And, oh, by the way, I get access to, like, any console.
Then you could have 164 games.
Yeah.
Except there's not 100 good games on the Nintendo 64.
Then on top of all of this, if you know how to download and emulate on your PC, you're set with everything anyhow.
Plus, I'm not sure they would do that with. I mean, it is weird that they are doing this because you can buy most of these classic Super Nintendo games on the
eShop.
On the eShop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
for $5 a pop.
Like, on my Wii, I have a couple different Zelda games, Super Mario, like all of those on my regular Wii, so I'm not sure.
No, Chris, you bring up a good point. Like, yeah, for a couple of bucks a pop. Right.
$5 a pop for a good one for like Zelda and shit.
Right, but 30
But then you can
games,
also pick and choose and probably not spend a full $80 for the ones you actually want to play.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's what we talked about it when the games list came out. Is there at $5 a game? Is there $80 worth of good games on here? Absolutely, there is.
On this one,
but
yeah.
we talked about
On the
how they're
NES,
missing
no, there
the big
wasn't.
ones. Like, they're missing like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a few oversights in the list.
There's like what 3 Square Enix games on there. How many Square Enix games do you want on there?
That they made
10%.
They made
10%.
They made most of the good ones for that era.
That's
fair.
So
you got Secret of Mana. You have Final Fantasy 3 and Super Mario All Star or Super Mario RPG.
Right.
That's a pretty good lineup.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, Earthbound is included in there. I would have
That's
sworn.
not Square Enix, though.
I would
No.
But I would have sworn that would have been omitted. But
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
But you could have comfortably included Chrono Trigger and Secret of Evermore in that list as well. Really, it's going to take up that much more space?
No, I'm saying like
it would have taken.
Obviously, there's a limited number that you can put on there in Nintendo's eyes. So I think you're going to have to cut one of those, and I think Chrono Trigger is a fine one to cut.
Oh, Secret of Mana is the one you cut.
Yeah. That's the
cut.
that's the dead weight in that
so
list.
much different than all the other games, though.
I agree.
So is Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Takes the best parts of Final Fantasy and the best parts of God, I don't even know.
Dragon Quest.
I'm not even
It's
sure.
the same art as Dragon Quest.
What would have been an analog for that battle system because it didn't take you into a separate screen.
Yeah, that battle system was.
It was kind of unique. I mean, and it also depended on character positioning as well. I mean, there was a couple of pretty unique aspects to Chrono Trigger.
And which characters were in your party because you had combination moves.
More so, I think, than Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana, it's basically like Legend of Zelda developed by fucking Square Enix.
Yeah.
So I would not have been heartbroken to have lost Secret of Mana. I still think it's a good game, but
I think there's arguments either way for dropping it versus keeping it. So I think it's a toss-up either way.
I don't know. I
don't fault them for not having it on there.
Fair, but at the same time, again, I really like. I don't understand the fervor that is driven behind the SNES Classic because it seems like at worst case scenario, if you don't get one, Oh, well, you got to learn how to program a Raspberry Pi.
I think the fervor is a casual gamer doesn't know what a Raspberry Pi is.
No,
Doesn't know that they don't know that's an option. Most
I can
people,
tell you
people who want this are seeing SNES Classic and thinking, "Oh, I had an SNES, and that was the last system that they owned."
Fun
I
story,
think that's
though,
where a lot of the demand is.
I didn't know I still don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, so.
Oh, Nika.
I hear you guys saying it, and I'm like, yeah. That's the thing, is that I'm the kind of person that's like, I'm not going to sit there and try to figure that out. I'll just buy it.
It literally, all it is it's a box with a fan. There's a small motherboard.
I don't think it has a fan.
Some have fan. You can. It depends on the kind of box you want to buy.
Wouldn't it overheat if you don't have a fan?
It might.
No.
All right.
No,
Well,
it might. It might.
For an emulator, no, especially if you put the heat sink
So,
on.
bottom line seems to be that Nintendo's like, hey, let's put a bunch of games on this and dumb people will buy it.
But it's basically, it's got like a USB port and HDMI out, and it's just like the most simple computer that you can assemble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't assemble anything.
Well, Nika,
Obviously.
that's because you're a fake gamer girl,
Actually, that's
okay?
not true. I assembled a grill. I guess I can put a grill together. Maybe I can
That
put a
was
Raspberry Pi
so
together.
good.
You put a grill together?
I did. It took a couple hours following the directions, but I did it.
Thanks, Hank Hill.
Was it propane or charcoal?
First of all, Hank could have done
Yeah,
it
I don't know.
in like an hour not using the instructions.
Yeah.
How do you
'Cause
take 20
he is a
hours?
trained professional.
I said a couple hours, not 20.
2 hours to make a grill? Come on.
Well,
Yeah.
sure, if it was propane, but I cannot help but believe this is probably a charcoal grill.
I don't think so.
Does it have a tank on the bottom of it?
It was a couple of years ago we put it together at my in-laws' lake house. It wasn't like a million years ago.
She doesn't even know what kind of grill it was.
I don't think it was charcoal. Who uses charcoal?
Hold on, did you
grills
have
anymore?
help making this grill?
Me and Saren did it together.
Oh my god!
Oh,
and it
okay.
still took you 2 hours?
Because we've never done it before.
This is the reason why. It took 2 hours because Surin had to deal with her looking at the instructions and being like, no, this goes here. And he's like, I know what I'm doing. Just leave me alone.
It's more like the opposite. Saren would say that to me, and I'd say, no, I know what I'm doing.
Here, let me just say, like, I think the real test of a relationship is building a tent together. If your relationship can survive building a tent together, then you're meant to be.
That's it.
Because if you've ever made a tent with another person, you want to fucking murder them by the time it's standing.
Yeah, now you've got somewhere to put the body.
Exactly. If the thought goes through your head that, I can package
Fuck this
the body
tent. This
up
is
in
just what I'm
this
gonna.
tent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck this.
All right. For more information on the news and other stories, you can visit Reddit at r/gofuckyourself.
You need
That's probably.
Is that actually a Reddit?
Probably.
That's
Reddit,
definitely
it might
Reddit.
be.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there if I was you.
you really need to write new news copy at the end.
That was a new one.
That was
It was new.
Yeah, I know, but it's
it was
not
really bad.
It was it needs to be. You need to write something that actually goes there, not just stupid bullshit.
Okay,
every
wait.
week.
So something I can use every week?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so I don't have to change it every week.
No.
Okay,
No, you
thank
definitely
heaven.
have to change every week.
Last week Chris got on his ass for using the same one a couple
Twice, yeah, because I use the same one
So he was
twice.
like, "You should
Supposedly,
use a
which I
different
didn't.
I'm saying don't make it a joke and make it actually
An official.
write some fucking
Okay.
out copy.
Thank heaven.
Jesus.
I'm on board.
He's like, that I can do.
Absolutely. I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, if you want to have a low bar, Jesus. Come on.
I mean, not everything can reach the comedic heights of your LBR intros, Juxta.
Well, at least I try. At 12 o'clock at night. In a drunken stupor filled with narcotics.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
No, you don't. You don't actually try.
I put forth effort.
Do you?
I have to move these fingers onto that keyboard in a very specific manner that creates something of substance on the screen.
And to be fair, moving those giant sausage fingers can be easy. He probably hits multiple keys at once.
I'll set up the news outro to plug the Checkpoint Radio news from now on.
Oh, good.
There we go.
There's using your head.
Yeah, that'll work.
This is using the old noodle. Anyway, thanks for that.
Woo!
Awesome.
You're welcome.
News.
Alrighty. So we've got a email here that was sent to us that
Last week we just got
yes,
it. It just came in.
Just came in.
Why does it say 327?
Shut
because
up.
that is how many letters are in the email.
That's right.
327 letters.
3/27?
It's not because this came in March 27th,
No.
2017.
Didn't happen.
That's not at all what it is. And it's not at all because we let it just sit around for a while.
I mean, they already know this happens. We read 3 on LVR last week that were all from March, so
You're not
Can't get
helping.
around
Oh my
it.
god.
Nika,
Make
you need
this
to have
stop.
That was on a completely different show.
You're exposing the business.
We did it on this show too, but
Same hosts.
You
completely
need to have
same practices.
Show podcast continuity, Nika. Do you even know what it means?
That's right.
You judged it like 3 times this episode. It's hopeless.
And Nero's been a Nero the entire show too. So
Damn it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
He's been gone so long we forgot his name.
It's true.
Use my real name!
I do feel like we could probably use either name on this show at this point.
It doesn't. I think we established a while ago. It doesn't matter anymore.
I think it doesn't.
Even Kooky doesn't correct people in the chat anymore. She's like, fuck
You used to ban him for it. Remember
you
that?
used to time people out.
Good times.
By the way, I haven't gotten notice that we have any callers, but if you do want to call the show, we've got about 25 minutes left in the show. Give us a call. Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. We'll talk about anything from the news. If you want to tell me how awesome it was to listen to the show without me last week, you can do that. I don't know. I'm not going to pass judgment, but you can give us a call. Final Encountercast, 810-207-1764. So let's hear about this email from TJ.
Yep, so this is an email we got in response to a topic we did an undisclosed amount of time ago.
Recently.
Hey guys, sorry for the late email on this topic, but I wanted to raise a question for y'all.
No.
Do you think that
next email?
Okay, next email.
No, I'm kidding.
9.5 inches.
We don't have any more emails, actually.
Damn it.
Do you think that game difficulty has dipped because of society's viewpoint on exclusivity? We live in a time when failure is seen as a negative rather than a means towards positivity. I think this, combined with a limited time and an abundance of choice, makes game developers gun-shy on difficulty. I'm playing Neo and find it refreshing, but when I'm done playing it, I'll hop on Fire Emblem, which I only play on casual. I hope you revisit this topic because I feel this is an interesting discussion. Thanks, TJ.
Thank you, TJ, for the email. Sorry it took a while for us to get to it.
It took him a long time to write it, and it takes us a long time to read it.
That's right. We're not gonna pass judgment on anyone here.
Come on, don't be shitty.
If you wanna write us email about a subject that we covered, 4 or 5 months ago, finalencountercast@gmail.com. Is the email address.
Make sure you remind us what the topic is in your email. We will not remember.
This is probably Nintendo Hard.
Yes, this is the Nintendo Hard.
It may have been, yeah. So anyway, let's talk about TJ's suggestion that because failure is seen as something to be ashamed of, as opposed to embraced, I think that TJ actually does bring up a good point, and that is something that is a little bit newer, is a little bit more prevalent among young people, where failure is seen as this big detriment.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think in older generations and previous generations, that failure was something that you had to reconcile. Failure happened at a much higher rate to people. No matter what you're talking about, whether you're talking about at your job or at school or socially or wherever in a multitude of different environments, that success has been the reward for so long, or winning has been the reward for so long, that people can't appreciate the learning that comes along with failure.
I feel like our generation might have been the last one that really kind of grew up with the idea of, hey, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures. Like, that was a constant lesson that we saw.
You couldn't save games on some of those original consoles.
Well,
you had to learn.
Not only on consoles, but like in every cartoon that we watched growing up, there was always episodes dedicated to the idea of learning from failure.
Yeah,
and moving on past that.
Think back to that classic 90s Chumbawamba song, I get knocked down, I get back up again.
You're never going to keep me down.
That's right.
That classic Chumbawamba song.
Really
words that have never been said aloud before.
In fact,
I love Chumbawamba.
Baby.
Recently, when I was playing,
Chumbawamba's like one of my favorite bands ever. You shut your dirty mouth.
Really?
We are the champions.
Are we being serious right now?
That was Queen.
Oh my God, he's gonna go. He's gonna get an album, guys.
He has a Chumbawamba
Put your
record.
hipster away. Nobody wants to see that.
Shut up.
You have it on vinyl?
I have it on. Of course I have it
Oh
on
my
vinyl.
gosh!
Wow.
Of course I do.
Wow!
Bag with which one douches?
No, you just gotta give him credit for that. That's pretty amazing.
No,
there's
color
no
me
credit for that.
impressed. How many? More than one?
2, yeah. All right, so...
Oh, wait. Chumbawamba's an actual band?
They had two. They made 2 albums.
Of course they were.
No, they actually, I think they made like something like 4 or 5 albums before Tub Thumper was a thing. But
That's when you commit suicide in the bathroom.
Here's Never Mind the Ballots and Pictures of Starving Children Sell Records.
Oh, so that's the Trump album.
Well, here's the concept behind these 2 records, because Chumbawamba used to be a punk band. Like, they were like, in terms of like late 80s, early 90s.
I did not mean to do this, guys. I'm sorry.
Anarcho and UK punk, like, they were actually one of the better acts, and that's the scene that they grew out of. And when you hear these 2 records, they sound like you don't expect Chumbawamba.
Hurry up, say it.
I'm done. I was done.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that is the most mistimed sound cue ever.
It's also really
you're
loud.
Yeah.
That's not my
really
fault.
loud.
But anyway, no.
I forgot we had that.
To speak back to the original point, recently I had picked up the Kingdom Hearts like 1.5 and 2.5 to play on stream, and fighting Cerberus for the first time like was super hard, and I think I
Get on the Hydra's back.
failed like 20 to 25 times before I could actually beat it. And there's something about when you're playing a game, even when you know you're being crushed, every single time you go back in again and you only manage to get like a fraction further than you did before, and then when you actually do finally beat it, there's no feeling like that in any of the games nowadays, that when you die, it just immediately loads you right back into where you were. And, you know, when it comes to dying or failing, there is no downside to it whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think failure states overall have been undervalued,
How
right?
many games have game overs anymore?
Like actual game
over screens, yeah.
Not even
Not
Mario
very,
has it.
I mean, not even Dark Souls. Like, Dark Souls, for as much as you die...
As much as it tortures you, there's no game over screen.
There's no game, there's no game over.
But it does have the system where, like, if you don't get back to your body and die again, you lose all your shit, which feels like a game over.
It
really does.
Well, you don't lose necessarily your gear. You just really lose your souls. And then it's sort of like, I mean, because souls are used for everything, leveling up and buying items, that it feels like you're losing out on currency and XP. So it does, you do feel double hit, but it's not as hardcore as like you lose all your progress, you lose all your shit.
Well, not to mention nowadays, you know, when you play games, you invest hundreds of hours in order to beat it, instead of just, you know, maybe like, you know, 5 or 10. Like, you know, think back to Mario or Sonic, how quickly you could get through one game, right? So if you did get a game over and had to start all over, like that was the whole point of it, right? And the advent of, you know, memory cards and being able to save is because you spend day after day after day playing these games and investing yourself in them. So, I mean, in a certain respect, you know, game overs kind of had to go the way of the dodo in order to make way for the type of gaming that we do.
Yeah, I can see, like, if you go on disc 3 of Final Fantasy 9 and you got a game over, it was back to disc 1.
Right.
Yeah, maybe no one would ever beat that game.
Yeah, that makes
Who dies in Final Fantasy 9 or any Final Fantasy for that matter?
That makes sense, though. I mean, but like if you have a 5 or 6 hour campaign and you died halfway through and you had to restart, like
no big deal.
I can live with that.
That's not nearly as bad.
But and like think about the platformers that we grew up on. How did you learn to play those platformers? It was jump, die, jump, die, jump, die, game over. Get back to that spot again. Jump, die, jump, succeed. Hey, okay, now I know how to get past that part.
Right.
It was like failure was just an ingrained part of learning to play video games. You had to.
Even like the really cheesy ones, like I went back and emulated some, like the freaking Toy Story game in the Sega Genesis. Like,
you know
I remember playing that game so much. I got to like the very last level and then couldn't beat it and rage quit. So I went and I emulated it recently, and without save state, I would never have been able to get back to where I was as a kid. So I spent so much time just failing and learning the little tricks and memorizing where each enemy comes from so that I could jump at just the right time. Like, that shit is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, so failing in games I think still exists, but it either happens so few and far between, or the punishment for failing doesn't exist that it doesn't seem like it's a thing anymore. Because, like, you know, with the Toy Story game, Nika, right, you weren't necessarily losing anything but time, right? But because you were always failing in the same spot over and over again, that felt a lot more punishing than if you're playing like a new Mario game and you die once. Oh, whatever, you know, you load back up, then you get past that spot. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
To be fair, Breath of the Wild does have some of that. Like, and so said it in the chat. But for real, like, there are some times where if you don't get to a certain point and your game doesn't save, you have to redo an entire area, and I remember cursing at the screen.
Well, yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda was that way. If you were in an actual like mission mode, you couldn't manually save, and it only saved at specific places, like autosave specific places through the mission. So, you know, when I was playing on insane difficulty, like I was waiting and counting and looking up like please save, please save. I just spent, you know, who knows how long trying to get around that choke point, save the game for me.
And again, like you can draw that same analogy to Dark Souls. That's sort of like what getting near a bonfire and then dying is like.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, because now all those enemies have respawned, and you're going to have to be able to fight through that much more to be able to get your shit back.
Yeah.
And so like I do think that that's a good point brought up by Infinity Fox as well, that there are different kinds of failure states as well.
That's true.
But I think like the overall concept of letting someone fail, or letting failure become a learning tool, is something that's downplayed by a lot of developers, because the fear is that the minute you start challenging their audience is when they're going to bail on you, like when they're going to put the sticks down and they're going to move on.
Well, in today's world of, you know, creating these franchises and like these huge extended universes and wanting to, like, you know, get people hooked on your brand, you need them to feel invested in your game and to finish your game, so that all the million sequels and DLCs that you have planned still actually pertain to them and they want to buy those things.
I mean, I understand the logic of what you're explaining. It just still, to me, seems like, putting the cart before the horse, right?
No, I agree, 100%.
If the reason that you want to draw out your interest in your game is just to be able to sell DLC, then make it as a part of the fucking game. Like, roll it into the $60 cost, and then don't even fuck with DLC.
Now, at the same time, I think there is, a very substantial part of our gaming culture that has been born because of the fact that games aren't made as difficult as they were. You know, you get things like how in Fallout, people do these insane survivability runs, right?
Sure, yeah.
There's that story of
challenge runs, Nuzlocks and things like that.
Nuzlocks. Yeah. There's the Fallout story where one of the good guy NPCs actually glitched out, and through this permadeath run, he had this unkillable NPC that should have been helping him, chasing him down through the entire thing, trying to kill him.
That's kind of hilarious. Actually.
What?
Stuff like that wouldn't
happen.
No
matter how far he ran away, like it would still be chasing him?
Yeah, he just kept coming.
Okay, that is terrifying.
It is. Yeah, look up that story, like unkillable Preston. It's and the guy actually finished his run too, which is just like a whole other testament to it.
Wow.
But stuff like that, I don't think would necessarily exist if we still embraced things like the game over. And we'd probably still think similar to it. But while we feel that maybe we are losing some stuff because of the way that the fail culture in games is changing, I also think that we as gamers who seek that challenge and want to look for the next best thing or the next challenge to overcome, start to make them ourselves.
But is it necessarily emblematic of gaming evolving, or is this something that's more generationally driven? Because I think you see this not just with games where developers are a little bit more afraid to challenge their player base, but I think that you see this spilling over into a lot of real life stuff too, when you've got participation trophies in sports and it feels like there can't be a winner or a loser, that everything's got to be sort of ubiquitous and no one can walk away feeling bad about themselves.
Oh, let's be real. I had participation trophies when I was in softball as a kid, and I still felt bad when it said consolation division third place.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it looks like third place, but I knew it was last place. Like, I knew what that meant.
That's the thing, though, is that like, what purpose did that actually serve?
So that the parents didn't feel bad that they had loser kids?
I don't know, kind of. It still said third place consolation division, and I feel like that in itself was like, haha, you really suck.
Think about what you are sating by giving that trophy to a kid, right? The only emotion that you're sating is he got one, I didn't, why? That's it. Because if you knew as a kid that was still a loser's trophy, why bother? You know what I mean? Like, if you're still cognizant of the fact that I'm not getting this for winning, what purpose does the trinket serve other than being able to quell the complaint of he got one, I didn't?
Really, none. Like I think it's actually more for the parents at this point. I kind of agree with Robbie.
Oh, it's totally for the parents. Are you kidding?
I had one for when I was a kid, and my whole goal became next year I want a real trophy. Like I remember telling my dad that I want a real trophy. I want to throw that one out.
Why is it a more difficult conversation to explain why did he get one and I didn't, versus trying to explain the nuance of a loser's trophy or being rewarded for losing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not saying, dude, I'm not saying that, like, parents should compound that loss, right? Like, it's never good to have a parent that's like, "Oh, fuck you, kid, you're a loser." You know what I mean? Like,
you suck.
Yeah, right. Like, you don't want the parent's role is not to pile on. The parent's role is to teach them what failure is supposed to teach them.
I can tell you
to appreciate failure. I feel like participation trophies or losers trophies like kind of undermine that idea.
Parents don't know how to talk to their kids about this shit nowadays. Like, take it from a kindergarten teacher. I'm telling you, like, a kid starts crying because they don't have something, and the only thing they know how to do is give it to them.
But why? Why?
They don't.
Why is that
okay? It's not. And like us as teachers, obviously, we know how to have teachable moments where then we can say, some things, like, I mean, even one year, like, we were all excited to go to this band concert, and then one of the principals was like, "Oh, we can't fit everyone. Kindergarten doesn't get to come." And I had some kids bawling. They're like, "I was really excited. I wanted to see this concert." And I had to like stop and have this moment where, like,
teachable moment.
I had this whole thing where I was like, sometimes you get your hopes up for things, and life isn't always fair. You just have to pick yourself back up and move on. And like, I had this whole moment with my entire class, and I don't know why it's so hard for a parent to do that with their one child.
And I don't think it should be your responsibility as a teacher to fill that role or to teach that lesson. But it absolutely
does fall on us, unfortunately.
I mean, yes, because we, in a sense, like, teachers are sort of like the only ones who can sort of like instruct kids, and like that whole idea that it takes a village, right? Like,
it does.
but that has been stripped away from our neighbors, right? Like, we in this day and age, we inherently fear our neighbors, but we send our kids to schools, but that's the only source outside of like the parents that kids are kind of taught to trust, right? Like, if a stranger comes up to you, what do? You tell a parent or you tell a teacher? I mean, like, you know what I mean? So it's reinforced that really the only people that you can trust are your parents and teachers. And I think that it's unfair that all of that responsibility and burden has been placed on you as a teacher, because yes, while I understand that is partially a role that you kind of sign up for and it's part of the job, right? Like, I do understand that.
I mean, I raise these kids during the day way more. I mean, I see their kids more than they do during the week. Like, I'm practically raising these children.
Right.
I'm teaching them morals. I'm teaching them acceptance. I'm teaching them to play fair. Like, these are things the parents aren't teaching them.
Yeah. And
let's come off our high horses a little bit here, Nico.
Go, please.
At the same time, like, we look at people that you know in your life. How many of them can have a frank, honest conversation with you or with each other? Why would you expect they can have a frank, honest conversation with their kids?
Yeah, nope.
No, because they feel bad when their kid cries. I am immune to children's tears at this point in my career. Like,
so many people today,
kids cry.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way about Reddit, really.
But so many people today will just choose to ignore a difficult conversation rather than have it. So why would you just for those people to have it with their kids? They don't, and then those kids grow up not being able to have a difficult conversation.
Well, and I think that is really sort of the point that I'm trying to drive home here, is that, like, this is a problem way beyond video games or philosophy behind video game design, and I think really strikes at something more societal that runs underneath that, failure in a lot of ways does not hold the same opportunities that it used to.
Damn, TJ, where'd you send us, man?
What a wild ride that was.
All right, we got a phone. We're gonna go to our phone lines and talk to Volkai. Alex, what's up, dude? What's going on, Volkai?
Hey, not too much. So I think there's.
Can you roll up your window at all? Like, there's a lot of.
The move of video games from the arcade
keep
into
going.
the home is the cause of a major change in fail states.
Dude,
can you hear us?
Volkai.
We can't really hear you, dude.
Sorry, man. If you can't even hear us,
I want to know he has someone in his car right now.
I can't hear him. That's, I think, really.
Yeah, I can barely hear him
that
either.
as well.
I mean, dude, that kind of background noise is so distracting. By the way, if you're going to call this show, make sure that you turn down the stream, you'll be able to hear us through the phone, as well as roll up windows. I mean, like, don't be sitting next to the loudest thing possible.
Maybe his passenger in the back seat had his window down.
Maybe. Final EncounterCast on Skype, 810-207-1764. I know that call didn't exactly go as planned, but if you want to give us a call and share your thoughts on this topic, please feel free to do so. Final EncounterCast on Skype, 810-207-1764.
Or send us an email and we'll revisit it in 5 to 7 months.
That's right. FinalEncounterCast@gmail.com if you want to end up taking that route. But yeah, I think it's something deeper in, millennials sound so patronizing, but
because technically we're all millennials.
We are, yeah, exactly. And
we need a new term. What's the next group down? 10 years below us. What's that group?
How can we figure out how to talk down to them? Like, because
I had 28-year-olds talking down to me when I was a teenager.
Yeah, Gen X has figured out how to talk down to us pretty well.
Yeah. All right. So we need a new term. What's
They have a term for them. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna see if I can look it up.
Bronies. That was it.
Bronies.
That's you.
Oh shit.
Anyway, no, but I do think that that it is something about this slightly younger generation. Folks our age, like maybe the first wave of folks our age that ended up having kids. I feel like they're starting to get old enough to start, posting shit on the internet.
Yeah,
these days.
It's just Generation Z.
Generation Z.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah, and then after them is Gen Alpha.
We were Generation Y until they came up with Millennial.
Yeah, so we just haven't came up with a name for them yet.
It'll take a while.
An appropriately demeaning name.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
How about like pan lickers? Because they always lick pans.
What?
Get out of here.
What are you talking about?
Leave
Can you explain those words that you just said, please?
Another victory for America.
Without the use of drops.
What did I expect?
What did you expect?
No, of course not. No, but I mean, like, where? I don't know where the weakness is necessarily even coming from. I mean, I think our generation as a generation of parents is going to be really interesting to see how that all shakes out. I know that the earliest among us, like the folks who are having kids at maybe 18, 19 years old that are now starting to get into their teens, they're the worst people alive.
Oh my God! Their parents didn't even have educations. What do we expect their kids to do?
Oh my God! I'm just going to generalize here for a while. Those people seem to create the worst people. Like, I don't know what it is specifically about like folks our age that were fucking about 13 years ago.
Well,
I mean, granted, you don't really. It feels like this is an entire generation that was inspired by 16 and Pregnant, and as opposed to like walked away from that as a cautionary tale.
Yeah. And this is what we get as a result, because you're right. Those people, they have the worst kids, and I can't even imagine the type of spawn that they're going to create. But those of us in that generation who either don't have kids yet or, waiting until later, having seen
responsible people,
having seen that generation, I think that is motivation enough not to raise kids like that. And as a result, it's more like I really don't want that to be my child. So I'm going to raise you right. I'm going to figure out what that is, because my parents didn't do it. Because I've seen like some stories and stuff online that when I see that, I'm like, oh my God, there is hope for humanity.
Well, let's look at this scientifically. Statistically, who you are when you have kids is who you stay until your kids move out. Like, you kind of freeze in time.
Yeah.
Ugh. So when we were, 18, 19, 20, what were we all into that is leading to this generation of kids? What was your big thing at 18, 19, 20? Because that's what's to blame.
Warcraft 3?
Feeling like an individual.
We're kind of an exception. Yeah, no, it was a lot of like either you're a conformist or you're an anti-conformist.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's what was going around in like 1999 to 2002. So,
that and like boy bands.
Yeah, there was a lot of boy bands too.
Yeah, there was a lot of boy bands.
Does anyone else think that like EDM as like a music genre is pretty done? I think it's done.
I think it's going.
I like Darude.
I think it's done.
I was going to say, Darude was on the that cruise ship we talked about last week.
The Gamer Gauntlet. You know, we made fun of that name, and I completely forgot there's a game store around here called Gamers Gauntlet. And
Is there really?
Yeah, there is.
Oh my god,
that's unfortunate.
That's gotta smell like mothballs. Why is it that every independent game store smells like mothballs? Is it because
you destroy the moths that live in the game?
Is it because all of them have rented spaces that used to be thrift shops?
No, it's because most of them have people's old used RPG books on a bookshelf somewhere, making the place smell like mothballs.
Yeah, that's probably
it's used
it.
RPG books. I
There's
guarantee
a lot of RPG books, a lot of strategy guides, D&D, like
old
they're all
comics,
just old comic books.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, I just
game manuals.
They also eat the mothballs.
Oh, what?
Why?
It's
Yeah,
like
you
know,
gross, stop.
It's
No.
like the mints, like they have the after dinner mints, the little
All
powder
right, I'm
ones.
done. Nope, no more. Stop. End the show.
They have a little bowl at the top of the counter. Stop.
That's pretty funny.
Just pop it.
That's a pretty funny practical joke. We should do that.
Yeah, great. We're not going to get sued.
Chris is the one that eats them.
I'm telling. Listen, I'm telling you. When we finally make enough money with this show or with Checkpoint or whatever, I'm relocating all of us out to Washington State, and we're going to run a combination podcast studio and weed shop.
Oh, great. You're going to have a headache all the time.
That's almost as bad as the video and vape shop in my hometown.
That is pretty bad.
Video and vape shop.
Yep.
When I was
there
out,
is no one in that shop who is remotely bearable to listen to. I guarantee it.
I was told out in Washington that there was a combination car wash and weed stop, and I was like, damn, if I had that here, my car would be so clean all the time. It would be.
You don't think you'd maybe just drive up and be like, can I just get the weed because I don't want to pay for a car wash?
Nah.
Well, if you're already there,
if you're there,
I mean, you always need a car wash.
What's a car wash cost? A few bucks?
Dude, I'm never at a car wash.
Okay, except in Michigan, wait a week and it'll rain anyhow.
That doesn't clean your car.
That's bad for your car.
And when it rains, you don't get weed. It's not a part of the equation.
Fact.
What if we could create weed rain, like from weed clouds, and then it just rains weed all the time?
But why do you talk? Why do you actually talk?
Our host last week, ladies and gentlemen.
Can we come up with a system where you have to get your thoughts approved before you say them out loud?
Yes, the Comic Code Authority for Juxta.
That is way too much red
We're going to
tape.
have you muted. When you get an idea, you write it down and hand it to Callie, and if he thinks it's worth saying, we'll unmute you.
No.
No, you're closest.
His
You're
stupid
closest.
words are not going to be on my head.
You're closest.
Because he'll write something down. I'll say, oh, this is a really good point. And then he won't say it.
He changes what
He'll
it is.
say something stupid.
That's really brilliant.
And I'm going to be left defending this stupid scrap of paper.
Well, at least
Probably had a penis drawn on it.
At least you'll have proof on the paper.
Yeah, that's what you guys will look at and say, oh, yeah, sure. No, good call, Callie, on your part. Damn you, Chris. That's what'll happen, sure.
I thought your name is Chris.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Chris with a K?
There you go.
That's actually
I think
my
you're Chris with a K.
My mom's name is Chris with a K.
No one cares.
I'm sorry.
No one cares.
I never thought I'd say this, but I have too many names.
Not one. Not
Can't
one.
figure this out.
No one
Excuse
cares.
me.
No one cares.
Tax him 25% of his pay every time he says something dumb.
25%
So you
of
should
nothing
feel
isn't
honored
very
to
much,
share
guys.
to share a name with the person who birthed me. That's all.
All right, on that lovely mental image,
I think we're done here.
I think we're good, right?
I think we're done here.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah. Feeling
Yeah.
pretty done with it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You sure?
Kinda.
Make sure, definitely make sure you guys tune in for LBR, regardless of if you like it or not, because, oh, man.
Yeah, whether you like...
We got some shit planned.
Whether you like FF14 or not, you'll probably be able to listen to this episode.
Limit Break Radio is coming up next here on twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Checkpoint Radio follows Limit Break Radio. That's starting around 7 o'clock tonight. That will get you out just in time for either Twin Peaks or Game of Thrones, whichever you want to watch. I'm not going to judge. No, Twin Peaks.
Both at the same time.
The right answer is Twin Peaks.
Both at the same time, but backwards. Callie approved that. I don't know. It was a really poor choice.
It's not, yeah, that's...
Yeah, he tweeted it at me. Sorry.
Maybe a really bad option. Anyway, so yeah, stick around. 7 o'clock is when the latest episode of Checkpoint Radio airs, and that's right here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. But we are going to be streaming Checkpoint Radio live, so if you want to kind of get ahead of the curve, head on over to twitch.tv/Checkpoint Radio. Follow that because that's where we're going to be originating our live shows from. We're also going to be doing additional game streaming on there as well. Be excited because there'll be some great giveaways that we'll be doing. We're going to be trying to give you more incentive to call the show than we do here. You may get something in return for your time. So do that. Twitch.tv/Checkpoint Radio. And you can look forward to that. I don't think that's going to be this week. It may be starting next week.
The following week, I think
it's the following week that we've slated for our first live show. Yeah, our first live show. And it may not be the entire show. It may just be some certain segments. And we're trying to figure out who's going to be running calls on that as well. We're trying to get a volunteer in here, but Wednesday afternoon is kind of an awkward time. But we start the show around 3 in the afternoon. It's not like we don't have a super strict schedule for it just yet. We're probably going to have to try it a couple of times, see how it goes before we'll be able to promote a real strict or specific schedule. But make sure you do that. Twitch.tv/Checkpoint Radio, checkpointradio.com. If you like this show, if you've been hanging out today, hit that follow button, stick around for Limit Break Radio, and check out the archive of Final Encountercast episodes by heading on over to finalencountercast.com. All right, guys, that's going to be it for Final Encountercast today. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a fun episode, and I think a vast improvement on the train wreck that was last week.
I mean, it was good.
I mean, what even was last week?
It was not a train wreck.
FEC was fine, but LVR was terrible.
Oh, no, I don't know. FEC was a little bit rough there, too.
I'm the greatest.
Anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Hit that follow button, finalencountercast.com for a full archive. We'll see you next week. For my crew, Robbie, Chris, and Nika, I'm Nate. Have a good one. Final Encountercast is a production of finalencountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Callie Sloan. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast, Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.